In today's video, we're going to begin our journey and discuss the main questline in the Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion. We start off our journey with a brand new playthrough, as in order to truly begin this questline, we unfortunately/fortunately have to go through the tutorial. So if you feel as though you're not in the mood to hear the dialogue or see the select scenes from the tutorial, feel free to skip ahead. Otherwise, sit back, relax, and enjoy. We literally begin our adventure by pressing New Game. It's here we're quickly brought over to the amazing introductory cutscene. First time players or those new to the Elder Scrolls series would have been introduced to Emperor Uriel Septim VII. The cutscene itself is vague and brief, yet sets up the game's plotline pretty nicely. We see shots of the Emperor holding the Amulet of Kings, we see visions of the Daedric realms of Oblivion, and we also get a fantastic panoramic of the Imperial City. The cutscene ends where our journey begins, in the Imperial City prison. The very first thing we get to do in the game is design our character. We get to input things like their name, their race, their gender, their hairstyle and hair color, their eyes, and their face structure as a whole. Here we essentially recreate my main character, Bard 2.0, who pretty much looks like the design of this character. We'll switch over to the real level 25 Bard 2.0 as soon as we're through with the tutorial. Once we're done with our character customization, we can press done and we're immediately thrown into the game. We see we're in a jail setting and look around for some answers.
My, you're a big one. A Nord, I'd guess, right? So strong. But you can't bend steel, can you, boy? You can't do anything to get out of here. And those big muscles? They're going to waste away. When the end comes, you won't even have the strength to cry for your mother. That's right. You're going to die in here. You hear me, Nord? You're going to die in here. Hey, you hear that? The guards are coming. For you.
We have a rather sour first interaction with an NPC. Regardless though, the Dark Elf is correct. We hear multiple voices coming down the stairs and approach our jail cell.
Attacked.
No, they're dead. I know it.
My job right now is to get you to safety. What's this prisoner doing here? This cell is supposed to be off limits.
Usual mix-up with the watch.
Never mind. Get that gate open. Stand back, prisoner. We won't hesitate to kill you if you get in our way.
You, prisoner, stand aside. Over by the window. Stay out of the way and you won't get hurt.
Confused and disoriented, we just follow the orders and move towards the back window. As soon as we get there, our cell door opens and the party of 4 enters inside with us.
We're not out of this yet.
You. I've seen you. Let me see your face. You are the one from my dreams. Then the stars were right. And this is the day. Gods give me strength.
We ask this man what's going on.
Assassins attacked my sons, and I am next. My blades are leading me out of the city along a secret escape route. By chance, the entrance to that escape route leads through your cell.
We ask him who he is.
I am your emperor, Uriel Septim. By the grace of the gods, I serve Tamriel as her ruler. You are a citizen of Tamriel, and you too shall serve her in your own way.
We ask the Emperor why we're in jail.
Perhaps the gods have placed you here so that we may meet. As for what you have done, it does not matter. That is not what you will be remembered for.
We ask what we should do.
You will find your own path. Take care. There will be blood and death before the end.
Please, sire, we must keep moving. Better not close this one. There's no way to open it from the other side.
Looks like this is your lucky day. Just stay out of our way.
One of the walls in our cell opens up and reveals a secret passageway. The group of 4 move through it and we begin to follow them. This is the point in the game where we can move around, crouch, open our inventory, take a look at our stats. It's truly the point where almost all of the features are unlocked. Regardless of whether we even wanted to follow these people or not, there's only one way through this secret area, and we're all headed in the same direction. We get to an open space when all of a sudden, a group of robed people jump out from the upper levels and begin attacking our group. They have some spell that allows them to conjure a set of unique looking armor. The men protecting the Emperor successfully kill off all of the attackers, however, we ended up losing one of our own along the way. The female Breton went by Captain Reynaud, and she was killed in the attacks. Together, we all press on through the rest of the room and end up at a locked gate.
There's trouble ahead.
We will get you out of here.
They won't be the first to underestimate the Blades. I'll take point. Let's move.
You stay here, prisoner. Don't try to follow us.
The Red Guard member of the team told us not to follow them, as now we've been left behind. However, as they say, when one door closes, another one opens. As a weak brick wall in the corner of the room collapses, two rats come running out at us. After dispatching them, we see what our next move is. It's this area in the game that we're introduced to all of the stats and features that are present within Oblivion. We find enemies such as rats and zombies. We find all sorts of chests, some which need to be lockpicked, others which are open and feature a variety of new weapons for us to use. The game introduces us to bows, warhammers, swords, fists. We're taught about what happens when our fatigue gets low. The game tells us about magicka, the different disciplines and classes that can be used for it. We're also introduced to mechanics like sneaking and pickpocketing along with alchemy. We see our skills increase as we use them in applicable scenarios. We're introduced to the world of blocking, armor, how to use potions. Ultimately, this isolated experience introduces the player to the perfect training grounds for the game. Ultimately, once we've finished with our little solo adventure through this area, we come across a door leading back to the Imperial subterrane. We descend down onto a lower platform and meet up with the Emperor along with his remaining two loyal guards. However, we're not alone in doing so, as the same group of assassins from before jump down to attack us. The two guards in our group successfully take care of them. However, we're now caught up in the middle of everything.
Damn it, it's that prisoner again. Kill him. He might be working with the assassins.
No, he is not one of them. He can help us. He must help us. They cannot understand why I trust you. They've not seen what I've seen. How can I explain? Listen, you know the Nine, how they guide our fates with an invisible hand.
We say the Nine guide and protect us.
I've served the Nine all my days, and I chart my course by the cycles of the heavens. The skies are marked with numberless sparks, each a fire, and every one a sign. I know these stars well, and I wonder which sign marked your birth.
We're now brought over to a selection menu. It's here we can pick a starting buff for our character. Each buff offers something entirely different. Some grant use of a daily spell, others give instant buffs to attributes, some permanently increase things like magicka, fatigue, and health, and others even offer drawbacks like weaknesses to certain elements. We pick the sign of the warrior, which grants us a bonus of 10 points to strength and endurance.
The signs I read show the end of my path. My death, a necessary end, will come when it will come.
We ask him, what about us?
Your stars are not mine. Today the warrior shall prove a stalwart companion when fortune fades.
We ask him if he can see our fate.
My dreams grant me no opinions of success. Their compass ventures not beyond the doors of death. But in your face I behold the sun's companion. The dawn of Akatosh's bright glory may banish the coming darkness. With such hope, and with the promise of your aid, my heart must be satisfied.
We ask him if he's afraid to die.
No trophies of my triumphs precede me, but I have lived well, and my ghost shall rest easy. Men are but flesh and blood. They know their doom, but not the hour. In this I am blessed to see the hour of my death, to face my apportioned fate, then fall.
We ask him where we're going.
I go to my grave. A tongue shriller than all the music calls me. You shall follow me yet for a while. Then we must part.
You may as well make yourself useful. Here, carry this torch and stick close.
We ask the Red Guard Boris about Uriel's septum.
My job is to make sure the Emperor gets out of here alive, and I intend to do it.
We ask him about something we heard before, the blades.
We're the Emperor's bodyguards. Our job is to get him out of situations like this. Although I admit, things are not going according to plan.
We learn a little more from Boris about the blades and their duty to protect the Emperor. Together, as a new group of 4, we move through the rest of the Imperial subterrane. Although it seems as that at every corner, more and more assassins keep popping out of nowhere and get the jump on us. Fortunately, they're not really aggroed onto us, as our character isn't really the best equipped, nor the highest of levels, so we don't have to worry too much about our fighting. Together, we all make our way into the next area called the Sanctum.
Hold up. I don't like this. Let me take a look.
We walk with the blade Glenroy to the other end of this hall.
Looks clear. Come on. We're almost through to the sewers.
The rest of the group follows suit and we all hook a right. However, it appears as though the way through is blocked.
Damn it! The gate is barred from the other side. A trap!
What about that side passage back there?
Worth a try. Let's go.
With only one other way to go, we all funnel into a small side room. As soon as we're all stuffed in there, however, the course of history is changed forever.
It's a dead end. What's your call, sir?
They're behind us. Wait here, sire.
Wait here with the Emperor. Guard him with your life.
Boris and Glenroy guard the entrance into the room. However, not very well though, as an assassin does break through and begins attacking us. It's here, the Emperor turns to us and speaks.
I can go no further. You alone must stand against the Prince of Destruction and his mortal servants. He must not have the Amulet of Kings. Take the amulet, give it to Joffrey. He alone knows where to find my last son. Find him and close shut the jaws of Oblivion.
A false wall behind the Emperor lowers, and an assassin comes out of it. One slash proves to be fatal enough, and Emperor Uriel Septim VII has been slain. Boris comes running in, looks at the body, and then turns to us.
We failed. I failed. The Blades are sworn to protect the Emperor. Now he and all his heirs are dead. The amulet. Where's the Amulet of Kings? It wasn't on the Emperor's body.
We tell him the Emperor gave it to us.
Strange. He saw something in you. Trusted you. They say it's the dragon blood that flows through the veins of every septim. They see more than lesser men. The Amulet of Kings is a sacred symbol of the Empire. Most people think of the red dragon crown, but that's just jewelry. The amulet has power. Only a true heir of the blood can wear it, they say. He must have given it to you for a reason. Did he say why?
We tell him we're to take it to Joffrey.
Joffrey? He said that? Why?
We tell him there's another heir.
Nothing I ever heard about, but Joffrey would be the one to know. He's the Grand Master of my order. Although you may not think so to meet him, he lives quietly as a monk at Waynon Priory, near the city of Coral.
We ask him how we get there.
First, you need to get out of here. Through that door must be the entrance to the sewers, past the locked gate. That's where we were heading. It's a secret way out of the Imperial City, or it was supposed to be secret. Here, you'll need this key for the last door into the sewers.
We question the sewers.
There are rats and goblins down there. But from what I've seen of you, I'm guessing you're an experienced knight. Am I right?
We're now brought over to another menu where we can pick our class. Our class selection is much more important and holds a lot more weight than our birth sign selection did. This is where we get to pick what kind of character we wish to play as. And while it's not impossible to break out of the mold in which we choose, it's certainly a lot easier to just stay the course and play within the confines of our chosen attributes, skills, and combat preferences. We decide to make our own custom class. We choose a specialty in combat and pick strength and endurance as our favorite attributes. Then from there, we get to pick 7 major skills at which we'll be most proficient at. Our choices were Armorer, Athletics, Blade, Block, Heavy Armor, Marksman, and Restoration. The default name for this class is Adventurer, in which we keep, and we select it for our character.
I wasn't far off. In any case, rats and goblins won't give you any trouble.
We ask what our next move should be after the sewers.
You must get the amulet to Joffrey. Take no chances, but proceed to Wayne Priory immediately. Got it?
We tell him we understand.
Good. The Emperor's trust was well placed.
We ask him what he's gonna do.
I'll stay here to guard the Emperor's body and make sure no one follows you. You'd better get moving. May Talos guide you. By the way, thanks for recovering Captain Renault's sword. I'll see that it is given a place of honor in the halls of the Blades.
With that, our class has been chosen and we've been handed over the Amulet of Kings. We loot everything we possibly can in this area and then leave Boris and the body of the Emperor. From here, we use the key on a locked door and find ourselves at the exit to the Imperial sewers. The sewers portion is fairly short as all we have to do is face off against a few rats as well as a goblin. We ascend up some stairs, cross a bridge, and then find ourselves wandering through a tunnel leading to the outside. Interacting with the gate, we're prompted to see if we wish to change anything about our character. We confirm that we're okay with our selection, and then we emerge out into the wilds of Cyrodiil. We get a quest update saying that we can continue on with the main quest, or we can venture off on our own, embarking on some crazy adventure. We pop open our map to see where Coral is, and moreover where Wayne Priory is. We scroll to the west and find our quest marker. Before we decide to head over there, however, we quickly scroll all around the map to see just how big the province of Cyrodiil is. One of the more appreciated features in Oblivion is the fact that you can fast travel to any of the major cities right at the beginning of the game, meaning that in an instant we can be right at our desired location. Or of course, as the game did suggest, we can wander around the wilds and landscapes of Cyrodiil in search of our next adventure, new enemies and NPCs, caves, loot, dungeons, etc. It's incredible just how much you discover and find within this game by walking to your desired location. There's plenty of little details that this world has to offer that most of us miss if we just don't look for it. However, in this instance though, we will be fast traveling to the North Country stables of Coral. Arriving, we receive a quest update that now that we're in the city of Coral, we should travel to Wayne Priory in order to find Joffrey. We travel a short distance east until we arrive at the monastery, and it's at this point where we switch over to the real Bard 2.0, aka our level 25 character. From here on out, the gameplay is going to be a little bit different. All of the enemies, their items, and the loot will be scaled to our level. Arriving at Wayne Priory, our quest marker directs us over to the lodge, which is called Wayne House. We enter inside and ascend up some stairs. For the most part, Wayne House is pretty quiet. However, in one of the corners upstairs, our quest marker points us to an older gentleman reading a book. We approach and speak with him.
I'm Brother Joffrey. What do you want?
We tell him we brought him the Amulet of Kings.
This cannot be. No one but the Emperor is permitted to handle the amulet. Let me see it.
We hand it over.
By the Nine! This is the Amulet of Kings. Who are you? How did you get this? What do you know of the Emperor's death?
We tell him the Emperor's last words.
As unlikely as your story sounds, I believe you. Only the strange destiny of Uriel Septim could have brought you to me carrying the Amulet of Kings.
We ask him who the Prince of Destruction is.
The Prince of Destruction he referred to is none other than Mehrunes Dagon, one of the lords of the demonic world of Oblivion. The Emperor's words, "Close shut the jaws of Oblivion," certainly suggest that he perceived some threat from Oblivion. But all the scholars agree that the mortal world is protected from the danger of Oblivion by magical barriers.
We ask him how Oblivion can threaten us then.
I'm not sure. Only the emperors truly understand the meaning behind the rituals of coronation. The Amulet of Kings is ancient. Saint Alicia herself received it from the gods. It is a holy relic of great power. When an emperor is crowned, he uses the amulet to light the dragon fires at the Temple of the One in the imperial city. With the emperor dead and no new heir crowned, the dragon fires in the temple will be dark, for the first time in centuries. It may be that the dragon fires protected us from a threat that only the emperor was aware of.
We tell him the Emperor asked us to find his son.
I am one of the few who know of his existence. Many years ago, I served as captain of Uriel's bodyguards, the Blades. One night, Uriel called me into his private chambers. A baby boy lay sleeping in a basket. Uriel told me to deliver him somewhere safe. He never told me anything else about the baby, but I knew it was his son. From time to time he would ask about the child's progress. Now it seems that this illegitimate son is the heir to the Septim throne, if he yet lives.
We ask where we can find Uriel's son.
His name is Martin. He serves Akatosh in the chapel in the city of Kvatch, south of here. You must go to Kvatch and find him at once. If the enemy is aware of his existence, as seems likely, he is in terrible danger. And please, let me know if there's anything you need. My resources here are limited, but I will help in any way I can.
We inquire further about the Amulet of Kings.
It will be safest here with me. When you return with Martin, we will figure out our next move.
We then ask him about the assistance he offered.
I keep a few things here in my chest to resupply traveling blades. Help yourself to whatever you need.
Here, the conversation pauses. Joffrey gets up from his chair and walks over to the chest in the corner. Unlocking it, we're able to look inside. This is a very good example of how some things just simply don't scale well to the player's level. Inside, we find iron and leather armor, steel weapons, and very basic potions. Our character is level 25, so we really don't have a need for any of this stuff. We return back to Joffrey.
Your first priority now should be to find Martin and bring him back here.
We ask him about Boris.
One of the youngest blades ever to serve in the Emperor's personal guard. I am glad to hear that he survived, but I fear he will take the Emperor's death particularly hard.
We ask him about the Dragonfires.
The coronation of each new emperor is sealed when he uses the Amulet of Kings to light the dragon fires in the Temple of the One. The dragon fires of Akatosh remain lit until the death of the emperor. His successor then lights them anew upon ascending to the throne. With Emperor Uriel dead and no successor crowned, the Temple of the One will be dark for the first time in centuries.
We then ask him about the Elder Council.
The Elder Council rules in the Emperor's absence by ancient tradition. Chancellor Akato heads the Elder Council and is the closest thing the Empire has to a leader right now. But the Blades answer only to the Emperor, of course. We are not an arm of the government.
We inquire again about Martin.
He is a priest in the chapel of Akatosh in Kvatch. He never knew that he was Uriel Septim's son. You need to find him at once and bring him safely back here.
We ask again about the Daedric Prince, Mehrunes Dagon.
The Daedra Prince of Destruction, an inveterate foe of all mortal races. He was involved with Jagar Tharn's plot against the Empire years ago. It doesn't surprise me to find his hand in the current calamity.
We ask Joffrey about the Blades.
Yes, Boris told you right. I am the Grand Master of the Blades. We serve the Emperor and the Septim bloodline. Talos is our patron. You wonder to find me here? Discretion is our watchword. Only a few of us have the honor to serve publicly in the Imperial Guard.
Finally, we inquire further about assistance.
I don't have much here at hand, but you're welcome to anything you need from my chest in the reading room. Priam Aberil and Brother Piner may also be able to help. You should speak to them about it if you haven't already.
It's here we exit our conversation with Joffrey. We now know what our next move is. We're to leave Wayne Priory and head to the city of Kvatch in search of Martin. Joffrey certainly did a great job at informing us about the matters at hand. We know that the Amulet of Kings serves some form of importance in terms of keeping the beings of Oblivion at bay. We also found out that the Daedric Prince, Mehrunes Dagon, might have had a hand in assassinating Emperor Uriel Septim. We head inside of the local chapel and find both of the brothers.
Welcome, good citizen. I'm Brother Piner, and this is Wayne Priory, a monastery. Can I help you?
We ask him about assistance.
Here, perhaps you will find this useful. One of the books I saved from my blades training. You go into danger. Joffrey didn't tell us any more than that, but know that our prayers go with you.
We then ask him about the Blades.
The Blades are closely linked to the Order of Talos. We both serve Talos, of course, and many of our brothers are former Blades. I myself was training as a Blade when I received the call to serve Talos in a different way.
We ask him about the Order of Talos.
It isn't widely known, but many brothers of the Order of Talos are also members of the Blades. Chapter houses of the Order, like Wayland Priory, provide safe houses for traveling blades as well as our more public religious functions. Blades who are too old for the active service often join the Order as lay brothers. We are honored to have Grand Master Joffrey, or Brother Joffrey as he prefers, as a resident here.
We exit the conversation and go speak with Brother Maberul.
I know that you are on an important mission for the Blades. Please, if you need a horse, take mine from the Priory stables.
We thank him for his generous offer.
Go with Talos's blessings. Do not fail.
We then ask him about the Order of Talos.
Our order works to spread the teachings and worship of the divine Talos. Surely you have heard of us. If not, I invite you to spend some time in our fine library. All are welcome here.
We ask him about the Blades.
The Emperor's elite knights. They dedicate themselves to Talos above and the Septims here on Earth. The loss of the Emperor must be a terrible blow to them.
We inquire about Wayland Priory.
Wayland Priory is a monastery devoted to the praise and worship of Talos and the Nine Divines. Brother Piner, Father Joffrey, and I are members of the Order of Talos. Erenor, a lay brother, tends after the sheep and our little farm.
We ask further about Erenor.
Surprised by Erenor's uncanny way with sheep? Perhaps it would interest you to know that Erenor's sister, Dagail in Leowyn, is an accomplished spellcrafter.
And with that, we exit the conversation. Leaving the chapel, we quickly pop open our inventory and read the book that Brother Piner gave us. The Warp in the West adds a +1 to our block skill. That's just enough to allow us to level up, so we find a bed inside of Wayland House, sleep for 1 hour, increase our attributes of agility, speed, and willpower, and then head back outside. It's now officially time to head over to the city of Kvatch in search of Emperor Uriel Septim's last son, Martin Septim. We pop open our map and scroll south to the city of Kvatch. Unlike the other major cities, for some reason we can only fast travel to the Gold Coast intersection that leads into the city. Arriving, we see an encampment hosting a variety of citizens. One rushes over to us.
Come on, run while there's still time. The guard still holds the road, but it's only a matter of time before they're overwhelmed.
We ask what we're running from.
God's blood. You don't know, do you? Deidre overran Kvatch last night. There were glowing portals outside the walls, gates to Oblivion itself. There was a huge creature, something out of a nightmare, came right over the walls, blasting fire that swarmed around it, killing.
We question that surely the whole city can't be destroyed.
Go and see for yourself. Kvatch is a smoking ruin. We're all that's left. Do you understand me? Everyone else is dead.
We ask how he escaped.
It was Savli and Matthias. Some of the other guards helped some of us escape. They cut their way out, right through the city gates. Savlian says they can hold the road. No, I don't believe him. Nothing can stop them. If you'd seen it, you'd know. I'm getting out of here before it's too late. They'll be here any minute, I'm telling you. Run when you can!
If what the High Elf said is true, then Martin Septim, the last heir to the Septim dynasty, is in grave danger. Or even worse, he's already dead. It now makes sense why access into the city was cut off from our fast travel. We approach and speak with one of the other survivors.
What do you want?
We inquire further about Kvatch.
Late at night, while we were all asleep, the door to Oblivion opened. Deidre came out and set fire to the town. Many people died, but some got out alive.
We ask him about Martin.
If you mean the priest, I don't think he made it out of the city. Very few of us did. But Savli and Matthias might know more. He's in charge of the city guard that are defending the camp.
We ask him about Savli and Matthias.
You'll find him at the barricade at the top of the road. He's still trying to hold what's left of the guard together.
We exit the conversation and begin to walk up the pathway. In quite the terrifying manner, the further up we go, the more we can witness the sky changing from a dark gray to a crimson red. The details and patterns of the red almost appear as though vein-like, practically reflecting the spilled blood of the civilians. Making it to the top of the road, we see a small garrison of Kvatch guards holding their ground behind wooden spikes. Just ahead of them, along the rest of the road, we see the city walls of Kvatch. Surrounding the walls are destroyed and burnt down trees, rubble, demonic spires in which we've never seen before, and even worse, a glowing portal of some kind. Coming out of the portal are horrific forms of Daedra. In particular, due to our level, we face off against Spider Daedra with the guards. Once the last of our foes have been defeated, we see the Kvatch garrison fall back behind the spikes. It's here we approach and speak with whom we presume the captain to be.
Stand back, civilian. This is no place for you. Get back to the encampment at once.
We ask him what happened here.
We lost the damn city. That's what happened! It was too much. Too fast. We were overwhelmed. Couldn't even get everyone out. There are still people trapped in there. Some made it to the chapel, but others were just run down in the streets. The Count and his men are still holed up in the castle. And now we can't even get back into the city to help them, with that damned Oblivion gate blocking the way.
We ask what he'll do now.
The only thing we can do. We'll try to hold our ground, that's what. If we can't hold this barricade, those beasts could march right down and overrun the encampment. I have to try and protect the few civilians that are left. It's all I can do now.
We ask him about the Oblivion Gate.
Some kind of portal to Oblivion. The enemy used them to attack the city. They appeared outside the walls and Daedra poured out. They've opened one right in front of the city gates. Until that gate is closed, the best I can do is try to hold these barricades.
We ask him about Martin.
You mean the priest? Last I saw him, he was leading a group towards the chapel of Kvatch. If he's lucky, he's trapped in there with the rest of them, at least safe for the moment. If he's not...
We ask him about Kvatch.
My home! My goddamn home in flames! It kills me that I can't get in there and do something! We couldn't have been any less prepared for this. Seems like they came out of nowhere. There were just so many of them. If only I had a way to strike back at the enemy. But we can't leave the barricade until that Oblivion gate is closed.
We ask if we can offer any help.
You want to help? You're kidding, right? If you're serious, maybe I can put you to use. It'll likely mean your death, though. Are you sure?
We say yes.
I don't know how to close this gate, but it must be possible, because the enemy closed the ones they opened during the initial attack. You can see the marks on the ground where they were, with the great gate right in the middle. I sent men into the gate to see if they could find a way to shut it. They haven't come back. If you can get in there, find out what happened to them. If they're alive, help them finish the job. If not, see what you can do on your own. The best I can say is good luck. If you make it back alive, we'll be waiting for you.
With that, we end the conversation. Savlian Mattius wants us to enter inside of the Oblivion Gate and close the portal from within. If what he said is true and Martin did leave a group of survivors into the chapel, their best bet at survival is if this gate is closed and no other Daedra can swarm the city. We approach the portal and enter through. Immediately, we're spawned into a terrifying hellscape. The sky is a constant flow of crimson red clouds filled with ash. The lands we're on are completely surrounded by lava. There are human bodies, bones, and limbs displayed as trophies. We see foreign and fairly demonic looking structures, spires, and stonework. One of the more difficult parts of going into an Oblivion Gate at our current level is that the enemies we face are fairly difficult. Long gone are the days of stunted scamps and clanfears. Now we're facing Zivali, Storm Atronox, Dremora Valkanaz, Spider Daedra, etc. They definitely hit a lot harder and have a lot more health. We find one of the Kvatch guard inside of here. We kill his attacker and then speak with him.
Thank the Nine. I never thought I'd see another friendly face. The others... taken. They were taken to the tower.
We ask him what's going on.
Captain Mattius sent us in to try and close the gate. We were ambushed, trapped. and picked off. I managed to escape, but the others are strewn across that bridge. They took Menion off to the big tower. You've got to save him. I'm getting out of here.
We tell him we could use his help.
You're right. I can't just leave poor Menion to his fate. If he's still alive, we've got to try to save him. All right, lead the way. Let's find Menion. Get out of here.
Together with the Kvatch guard, Handvonius, we make our way through the rest of this Daedric plain. We fight off more enemies like the Zivili. We come across more objects and structures unlike anything we've seen before. Essentially, venturing through this realm of Oblivion is exactly the same as any other dungeon crawl. The nice part is that the landscape, the setting, and scenery, along with some of the enemies faced, are totally different. And at this point, we can follow our quest marker which leads us where we need to go. However, in a similar vein though, by simply following the path, it's fairly obvious where our destination leads us to. Just before we arrive at the foot of the tower, our friend and companion, Handvonius of the Kvatch Guard, was slain. However, thanks to his information, we know that the rest of the soldiers from Kvatch were dragged into this tower, so we enter inside of it in search of answers. Immediately, we're aggroed by more Zivili and Dremora Valkanaz. In the center of the room appears to be a giant spire of energy or light. It's at this point into our journey that it's probably a wise idea to have the quest active, as now it's a game of finding which door will lead us to our desired spot. Each door that we go through helps us to ascend the tower. Throughout every room that we enter inside of though, more times than not there's enemies we must face or traps we must be careful of. Eventually, we find a door that leads back out into the plains of Oblivion. More specifically, it leads to a bridge that connects to one of the smaller towers. We follow the bridge and enter inside of the Reaper's Sprawl. It's here we notice that our quest compass turns from red to green. We go up a ramp in the tower and are immediately spotted.
You should not be here, mortal! Your blood is forfeit! Your flesh is mine!
Immediately, the Dremora Sigil Keeper begins attacking us. We engage in combat and take care of it rather quickly. Although, towards the end, instead of us being able to deliver the killing blow, it staggers off the edge of a platform and falls to its death. We pay it no mind and return back to the man in the cage and speak with him.
Quickly, there's no time. You must get to the top of the large tower. The Sigil Keep, they call it. That's what keeps the Oblivion Gate open. Find the Sigil Stone, remove it and the gate will close. Hurry, the Keeper has the key. You must get the key.
Menion informs us on how to close the Oblivion Gate. However, this involves getting the key from the Dremora Sigil Keeper, which, if you recall, fell down to the pits of the tower. We descend down as far as we can, and notice that there are two Daedroth guarding its body. We hold our ground and take pot shots at them with a bow and arrow. Everything's going well until all of a sudden, one of them somehow teleports up to our location and knocks us down. Admittedly though, using Goldbrand to fight back is a lot easier and gets the job done a lot quicker. Once both Daedroth are dead, we loot the Sigil Keeper and take his key. Here, we ascend back up the Tower of the Reaper Sprawls, exit back out onto the bridge, and enter back inside of the central tower. We continue our ascension, facing off against more Daedra and avoiding more traps. We continue to slash our way through the demonic forces posted atop this tower. Eventually, we ascend up to its peak and go through a door titled Sigillum Sanguis. Here, our quest marker turns from red to green, so we know we're in the right spot. It seems as though that central beam of light that we kept seeing has all of its energy focused into one area. There are multiple Dremora Valkanaz which aggro onto us as soon as we step foot onto the platform. They swing and cast away at us with everything they've got. Once they've all been defeated, we climb up some crimson red ramps, which lead us to the very top of the beam's energy. It seems as though all that energy is being channeled into a black stone of some sort. It's called a sigil stone, and we actually have the ability to remove it. By interacting with it, it gets added into our inventory, and it seems as though we've let all the energy loose, which in turn closes the Oblivion Gate. We're teleported back to the ruins of Kvatch. The portal itself is gone and there are no more Daedra outside of the city walls. The way through the city gates is clear and we can now go search for Martin in the chapel. We return back to Savli and Mattius to see what the next move is.
Close the gate. I knew you could do it. This is our chance to launch a counterattack. I need you to come with us. You've got far more combat experience than these men. Are you able to join us now? I can wait, but not for long. We've got to move quickly before they have a chance to barricade the city gate.
We tell him we're ready.
For Kvatch!
Together, along with Savli and Mattias and a handful of guards, we rush to the city gates and enter inside. Whilst in here, we see that the city of Kvatch has been completely leveled. Buildings are destroyed and burnt down, half of the city is on fire, and there are dead and charred bodies strewn across. We're immediately met with the resistance of Daedra. They're not unlike the ones we faced inside the plains of Oblivion. The nice part about this scenario is that the Kvatch City Guard are there to help distract the remaining Daedra, so we only need to pull aggro and focus for one of them at a time. Once all of the Daedra have been slain, the remaining members of the Kvatch Guard make their way over to the chapel. We speak with Savlian.
We wiped the bastards out! It's safe to pull those people out of the chapel. Let's get in there and make sure they're all right. Come on. This is only the beginning of the battle for Kvatch. We can discuss the next phase once the civilians are safe.
We walk with Savlian and the rest of the guard and enter inside of the chapel.
Report, soldier.
Sir, we're all that's left. Barrack Inian, myself, and these civilians.
That's it? There's no one else?
There were others, sir, but they refused to stay put. We tried to convince them it was dangerous, but they left anyway. I guess they didn't make it.
Very well. The area outside the chapel has been cleared, and these people need to be taken to safety. Escort them to the camp south of here at once.
But sir, I want to help fight.
You will, soldier. Once they're secure, get back here immediately. We'll need every available blade, and there'll be plenty of fighting to go around.
Sir, yes, sir. Civilians, it's time to move out. Let's go.
Immediately, we search for a man dressed in priest's clothing. We see one to find out that he is indeed Brother Martin. We speak with him.
I heard about how you helped the guard drive the Daedra back. Well done.
We tell him the Emperor told us to find him.
The Emperor is dead. Who are you? What do you really want with me?
We ask him if he's Martin the priest.
Yes, I'm a priest. Do you need a priest? I don't think I'll be much help to you. I'm having trouble understanding the gods right now. If all this is part of a divine plan, I'm not sure I want to have anything to do with it.
We tell him that there's a plan and that we're all a part of it.
What plan? What are you talking about? I prayed to Kvatch all through that terrible night, but no help came. Only more Daedra. What can you possibly know that would help me make sense of this?
We tell him he's Uriel Septim's son.
Emperor Uriel Septim? You think the Emperor is my father? No, you must have the wrong man. I am a priest of Kvatch. My father was a farmer.
We tell him the Daedra came here for him.
An entire city destroyed to get at me? Why? Because I'm the Emperor's son?
We say, why would we lie to him?
I don't know. It's strange. I think you might actually be telling the truth. What does this mean? What do you want from me?
We tell him to come with us to Wayne Priory.
You destroyed the Oblivion Gate, they say. You gave them hope. You helped them drive the Daedra back. Yes, I'll come with you to Wayne Priory and hear what Joffrey has to say. Lead on.
Martin, although skeptical, does believe in us when we tell him that he's the true son of Emperor Uriel Septim. However, we know that our job here in Kvatch isn't finished just yet. Knowing Martin's safe, we tell him to wait here in the chapel.
Unless you need something, let's continue on to Wayne Priory. I've put myself in your hands. Don't fail me.
We feel a sense of duty to help out Savli and Mattias in completely breaking the siege of Kvatch and driving the Daedric forces out of it. With Martin safe and secure inside of the chapel, we can continue with our efforts on reclaiming the city of Kvatch.